Welcome to the Coach Speak podcast, built for coaches, by coaches, hosted by Jamie Bolton and Dustin Martin. Sponsored by Ray Crowther, providing the nation's best athletic training equipment since 1932. And R4 Football Systems. Accelerate everything by decoding the game.
Hey guys, welcome back to Coach Speak. My name is Dustin Martin here with Jamie Bolton. We have a special guest out of Georgia tonight, and I'll let Jamie get into that. But before we do, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Team Builder and Tsunami Bar Sports, as well as Dome Hats Headwear. You can get 10% off of their merch with the promo code Coach Speak.
Yeah, today, guys, we got a special one because we're sitting down with a coach who represents exactly what this profession is becoming. Hungry, detailed, creative, and absolutely relentless in the grind. Coach Dawson Mitchell. He was a graduate assistant at Reinhardt University before jumping into high school coaching. He's been one of the premier programs in the Southeast, Cartersville High School, coaching linebackers and safeties and helping shape a championship-level defense the last 5 years. And if you're online at all, you might already know him from TikTok and YouTube as the creator of Coach's Cut, fast-growing platform where he breaks down football in a way coaches actually want to learn it. Coach, welcome to the show.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm excited.
Hey, man, let's get into it. So, Coach, just be honest, man. How was it being like a GA, maybe one of the most undervalued job in college football?
So my GA experience was probably a little bit different because I decided to do this during COVID. So you had so many kids, only so many kids that could be in the weight room at a time. So we had to add a extra morning slot. So I got to be there at 4 a.m. to set up the weight room after being in there 1 o'clock at night doing laundry. And I was also student teaching at this time.
Oh, wow.
So I would go set up the weight room at 4 a.m. Me and my buddy Mosley, he's actually at Clemson right now as a GA. And we'd go set up the weight room, and then I would have to leave at like 8:15 to go teach first grade. So,
Good gracious.
And then I would come back, obviously, get stuff set up for practice. We'd practice. And then depending the night, I would have study hall to about 9:30, and then kind of get home and it starts all back over again. So it was interesting. It was a really good learning experience for sure.
Man, I forgot about COVID, honestly, with football, man. It's like I remember, I think it was Northwestern, they had like footballs on a stretchable string, and
Yes.
like they would throw it and they'd work on catching it with the fence. Like, it was just, what a weird time, man. Like, we had 10 or 15 kids that would show up within 30-minute slots.
Mhm.
Like, it was so, I mean, as a GA, you probably don't feel like you have enough time anyways. And now you're saying you got to add more in the little bit of time you have. Who was it, Jamie? I think it was Brent Dearman. It may not have been, but so when they GA'd, every other day he'd have to walk through the office and say, what does everybody want for lunch? He said, and it wasn't like you would say, hey, I'm going to Subway. What do you want from Subway? It was, this guy might want Burger King, but this guy might want McDonald's, and you had to go hit all of the spots to grab lunch.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then getting
I didn't have
back
to do
before
that.
it got cold.
Is that the guy that's at North Alabama now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So he was actually the head coach at Bethel when we played them at Reinhardt. So he had
Yeah.
just left Arkansas. It was a D2 school in Arkansas.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Arkansas Tech. It was green and yellow, I remember, or North Arkansas.
He
Tech.
GA'd at Auburn. He was a GA at
Did he?
Auburn under Malzahn.
That's awesome.
And so we actually got to meet Coach Dearman. When I was at York Comprehensive High School in South Carolina, the offense coordinator and his brother went to Bethel. They graduated with Brent. They were the offensive lineman for Brent when he was the quarterback as a player.
That's awesome.
And then so he came in and installed the offense. It's really the offensive stuff that I use.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, he
pretty
beat our
cool.
tail that night. So
Yeah, he's a good coach, man.
He's a good dude, man. He really is.
He really is.
Coach, what would you say? Obviously you GA'd and you've been at the college level, and now you've been at the high school realms for 5 years or so. What do you think is the biggest difference in coaching that level and coaching this level?
I would say obviously you have more time with your guys in college. And so you can you can do more, obviously, but like your indie time is like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, opposed to your 5 and 10 minute indies in high school. High school, you got to worry about, okay, I got 2 linebackers that play tight end. They also start at tight end. So I only got 5 minutes, 10 minutes of indie with those guys. And I also have to share them in film sessions. And you don't want to wear them down and overload them. Like having a 30-minute film session for linebackers is fine, but you're doing special teams film, tight end film, linebacker film for a high school kid. You're overloading it. So I would say definitely time. I think personalities honestly are about the same. But I would definitely say time is one of the big ones for me.
Yeah,
No,
time is always
yeah.
the one that's, like, totally, like, different. Even at different high schools, it's always different. There's always some kind of problem to solve when it comes to, okay, when are you practicing? You know, I remember at
Yep.
Cannon, like, we didn't have weightlifting, and Dustin knows this, like, there was no weightlifting during the day. So we either had to do it before school or after school, and we were gonna do
Sheesh.
after there's no, like, showers, just, like, so you gotta do it, like, after school, and then your practice until, like, 7 o'clock. So I was actually looking at an old practice script, and it was, like, lift, 4 o'clock, and then it was, like, special teams film till, like, 4:20, offensive, defensive film to 4 well, hell, we're not getting on the field till
Jeez.
5 o'clock, man,
That's
and no wonder
awful.
we
Yeah.
had some griping and growing it
I
out.
was about to say your
You know,
kids are
it's
all checked
crazy.
out by then. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah, we
crazy, man.
and then when I took over after Jamie, I was like, man, like we're not starting film till like 4:15. Nah, we're not doing that. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I made the kids come before school to lift, and we're using the staff showers to make sure that the kids can get a shower. We had 4 showers, and I said, "Hey guys, you have 6
Jeez.
minutes apiece," and like it was like military.
Yeah.
Like, hey, go! All right, when I blow the whistle, you're out. Like next
Guys
guy's
gotta
in.
get out of there. Yeah.
But
That's
you
awesome.
know what's funny is me and Jamie talk about this a lot. I don't know, and I want to hear kind of how it is in Georgia, but around here, you know, the football programs with the schools that are bought in, you typically are going to get a first, a second, or a fourth block class where you have probably 95% of your kids. There may be a couple who are involved in other electives or academics that doesn't allow, but me and Jamie talk about it all the time. It's like, how do we gain more time? Not to necessarily send the kids home early and the coaches home early, which is not a bad thing, but how do we use the time to be most beneficial? You know, so if you do have first block, it might not be bringing them in an hour early for school and practicing so they can go home after school. It might be, how do we use the extra time we actually have to get our lifting in for our film sessions? Because I feel like when you talked about the timing, there are a lot of things I feel like my linebackers aren't aware of during the game. If we had more film time, we had that 20 or 30
100%.
minutes,
Yep.
they would be able to sniff it out and it wouldn't even be a thing. Like, especially like unbalanced 2 guys on, stuff like that. But yeah, so
Coach, do you do any like homework with those guys with your limited time? Do you ever send stuff home? Because that's always iffy for me. Like,
So I just spend a lot of time making cut ups.
Mm.
So like I understand that their attention span is going to be 15 minutes. If I don't have everything I need in 15 minutes, it's not good. And so what I normally try to do is really be intentional about how I plan my film. I make handouts, but I don't really necessarily do homework. I do handouts and cut ups and do them through text. Any way I can get it in their hand and they can see it and spend more time looking at it, the better. But yeah, so our guys, we have first block weight training. So during season, me and my guys will do film because I teach at the primary school. We'll do film at 7:30, and then their weight till like at 8:15. So I try to get them out of there by 7:50. So like Mondays we'll go over new install, their personnel, and then Tuesdays favorite runs. Wednesdays we'll watch. So Wednesday morning we have practice. So we do our morning practice, and that's like an hour and a half. And then we actually bring them back in Wednesday afternoon for film. And then we do something cool, just because we do care about the development of the kid. We do what we call these fuel sessions. And we basically just give them topics to talk about each week about how to be a better leader, how to be a better man. And we got these guys that come in, men build men. They did like a how to change a tire one day. So they got to go out and learn how to do that.
that's sick.
How to tie a tie. Some of these different things that some of these kids have never done. So it's honestly been a cool experience to do that as well.
No, man, that's good stuff. That's what we're in it for. And the way that you can incorporate those life skills, you know, it makes you feel good when you're driving out the parking lot and there's some young lady who's broke down and one of your football players is over there changing the tire.
That'd be nice.
Shout out Luke Fox. He was one of those young men that did that one time. So
That's awesome.
great player. But well, Coach, we're going to kind of just dive in, man. You know, obviously the way we kind of connected was I came across Coach's Cut and he reached out to you. We talked a little bit about defense and I said, man, we got to get this guy on. So just kind of walk us through your coaching story. When did you know that, hey, I want to coach? And then what made you kind of determine staying the college route versus going the high school route?
I feel like I've always known I wanted to teach and coach. I've always felt like I'm a good teacher. So I actually taught second grade for 2 years before I got a PE job. So I've always felt like I'm a good teacher, and that really translates to coaching. Not every kid's going to learn the same. So you kind of differentiate your content and how they can understand it, and you explain the why. And you're really thorough in that explanation. But so basically, college route, when it came to, I basically had to be the linebacker coach around for 2 months. So we had a guy leave, go to UAB, and we didn't have a linebacker coach. In AI level, you're not just, people aren't biting at the bit to come be a linebacker coach at Reinhardt University. So I got to do it for 2 months. And for me, it was more so, where do I go from here? And how do I go there? Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you know. You've got to build these connections to get there. And we've had a lot of good guys in that building, like Drew Cronick is the OC at Navy right now. He was my first head coach at Reinhardt. So we've had a bunch of good guys roll through there. It was just, I personally don't have the connections to continue that route. And it's a lot of time and a lot of pay cut.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you're making no money to do a lot of work. And so you really got to think about those things when you talk about going the college route versus the high school route.
Yeah,
we see it every year at AFCA where everybody's putting up their
thousands.
Like man.
You're like, man, if I could just get my foot in the building. Then you go to these places and you're like, dude, there's 1,000 of me.
1,000.
Like,
we had a running back, Stephen Oglesby, and I think he's kind of going on that track. He grinded. He might still be GA, and I don't know if he's got a position.
He's at UNCC right now. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So he's kind of bounced around, but man. He's still in it, man. He's still in it. Probably not married. Probably doesn't have any kids.
Correct.
Probably doesn't have any bills to pay. So
yeah. I think he's an offensive GA at UNCC.
That's cool.
And I think one of us reached out to him. I think we're going to get him on eventually. I think it would just be cool to see someone we coached that I coached him in JV and then happened to be able to move up to varsity with him when he was a varsity player. And then Jamie was the OC with him, and it's just a great kid, man.
Yeah.
And
does everything right.
And we told him, man, if you were a little bit bigger and taller, man, like you got everything else. But, so he's found where he belongs. He did some at SC State for a while. He's just a great kid. But yeah, man, if someone asked, like, what was my quote unquote pipe dream, it would be to chase the college route. Like, I would love 100%. To do it. Yeah. But I just, man, like, when I graduated college, like, I had like a truck payment, I had student loan payment, and I was like, 15,000, if that, ain't gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't gonna cut it, man. I can't, like, I couldn't do it financially. You know what I mean? I didn't have that support to do it. So, but all the guys who do and all the guys who want to, hey man, chase it, go after it, and
100%.
Remember us three if you ever need some people.
That's what I always tell my buddies that are doing it. I'm like, when y'all make it big, just remember I'm really good at filling up water bottles.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm really good.
No doubt. We got a good buddy that has been on here a couple times, Dub Maddox, and man, I swear he could be at that level. And I hope he just remembers we know the R4 and we'll do whatever he needs. Just
take us with you, man.
No doubt.
Take us with you. So yeah, man, what drove you to start Coach's Cut?
So I'm a football junkie. Like this is my hobby. It's what I love to do. I loved as a GA going to make cut-ups and doing all the things. I love doing that now for my film time. So I'm like, why not post it if I find something cool? Yeah. And that's kind of how it started out. I think I started out like 2 years ago. I was doing it on and off, and then I was kind of like, man, I put a lot of time into this. But to be fair, the videos were atrocious. Some of the first ones were real bad. So
we've been there, brother.
But I started just finding some different things, and I would put it out there. And my main thing is I like to constantly learn. Like I'm at the point where I don't feel like I know enough. And so I just continuously try to reach out to people and make connections and network, and really just kind of share ideas with people. I think that's awesome. So like getting in touch with you guys. I've talked to the guys at Board Drill some, but there's dudes that'll flood the comment section, even on Reddit. Dude, I post on Reddit. Those guys are awesome. They're hardcore, man. Like they will type up something this long and you're like, wow. So I always like getting new ideas from people and some different ideas. Because I've been a squeeze, spill, overlap, all the things my entire life, but I think there's also merit to doing some different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on my radar that I want to look at this off season. I want to do stopping a QB scramble study, man. Like, because there are just so many times where coverage is great. Pass rush is fine, and then
It's called
we just
good
keep killing-
luck.
Yeah, no, and
Good
I'm
luck.
sure
It is.
everybody wants to, but
So and I told my kids the whole week, like, it's not a bunch of concepts. It's a bunch of, he's going to scramble around. He might dump it out to the back. He's committed or not committed. I know he has offers from Bama and really freak athlete, man. And I was telling my guys all week, we got to sit on the screen, and that sounded good until we just couldn't tackle. So, and then some of that quarterback stuff, it gets tough about just
yeah.
making an open field tackle. I mean, we
Yeah,
take
well,
for
it's
granted
funny.
that some of these kids are
We-
real good athletes.
We had a question early on when we started recording, and Jamie was like, all right, would you rather have a quarterback that's mobile or a quarterback that's average and the really good running back that you're going against? And I was like, I'll take the really good running back.
I'll
At
take
least
the
I
really
can,
good back.
I know who's really good. And then the team we played second round of playoffs, he's a 4-star. He's a junior. He's offered by Florida State, Clemson, all of them. And man, the best kid I've coached against ever seen, and they ran a wide zone, and not that I've never seen it, but he cut it back in backside A and got vertical for about 18 yards in probably 2 seconds. It was
That's a scary deal.
it was very scary. But I mean, there's 2 other high schools in the city that we coach in Rock Hill, and both of them just won the state championship, and both of their quarterbacks were very elusive athletes, and both of their quarterbacks were a big part of why those teams rolled all year. Now, both of those teams have really good defenses as well, so you get that combination.
I think both quarterbacks had like over 3,000 passing and 1,000 rushing,
Sheesh.
like 4,000 by
Golly.
themselves, man.
Holy crap.
Man, great job.
And
The whole
like
thing,
they didn't just win the state, like they won it like one of them had a running clock
50 something
in
and
the second quarter.
16 or something.
And then the other one, it was like 21-0 at half. Like, yeah, it was they were the real
Yeah,
deal.
it was
man.
dominant. Yeah.
the only thing we do, so like we make all of our scout cards on Sundays, obviously, and we make our perimeter cards, inside cards. We use PQD. And so on those scout cards for our scout team offense, we'll put scramble drill during perimeter, at least like every 2 plays, especially for facing quarterback. And so as soon as he breaks the pocket, backers know they're the first out, and then DBs, you better latch on and don't peek. That's about the only time we really practice it is during our team periods. And
Yeah, and there's some clips we had this year from scramble where it was like we're not playing zone technique the best, or we end up with our not backs turned to the quarterback, but turned just enough where by the time we square back up, it's going to be a 12-yard gain minimum.
Right.
But no, man, I can't remember exactly what video I first came across of yours, but it was a run fit video. And but man, do you think that creating your kind of online content has like sharpened your networking or your coaching voice, or has it given you ability to want to dive into more topics so you can share with more people? Just talk about that a little bit.
absolutely. I think it's made me a better teacher. When you're talking and you're posting stuff online, it can get like, and you're putting your face out there at times, you got to make sure you're right. And like some of these, it takes me forever to record because I want it to be perfect as possible. And so you're making sure you've really explained it thoroughly and you've done it the right way. So now you take that to your kids and you're able to explain the why behind things, or you're able to give maybe some different verbiage that gets through to them. That's been the biggest thing sometimes is like, I'm terrible at verbiage, like awful. And so talking to some of these guys, it's cool to hear some different verbiage of how to teach some of these techniques. Or like, I think this year we struggled. We used to be a box with the front side guy, backside guy, get ready to fit it inside out. And we changed that up a little bit this year. So we were working on fitting tight off our ends butt. And so one thing I heard this year was act like you're doing a dude wipe right off the DN's butt. And my guys were like, what?
Yeah.
But I mean, it worked out.
It worked.
Yeah, if it
Well,
resonates with them, for sure. I mean, that's
Well,
the biggest part of teaching.
The weird one I had was, hey man, if he down blocks, suck the fart out his butt, you should be so tight off of him.
I don't know if I'm gonna go that far though.
Chasing the dive. That was a weird, and like they just kind of look at you, but I'm like,
Yeah.
you get the point. That's how tight I need you to be. No,
They're not going to forget it.
Coach,
I
I
mean,
sucked the fart out like you said, man.
Correct. They ain't going to forget
No
it.
doubt.
You
No
know
doubt,
that's
man.
coming. Oh man,
knew what to
that's
do.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this stuff has really helped me coaching wise.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
even the verbiage in explaining it to a high schooler. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like you may clinic with a high profile, P4 guy
Right.
who he has all the time in the world to sit down and teach it. But like, for example, match rules, when we teach match rules in 3-match, we can't teach everything. So
Nope.
it's got to be, hey, you're going to play this technique until he does these two things.
Correct.
And like to keep it simple. And the same thing on offense. I'm sure with teaching quarterback reads, Jamie, if you want to hit on that a little bit.
Well, yeah, I was just even going to talk about just the defensive side of stuff. Whatever language you use, you really have to define that language to the point where, it's like, all right, 3 up and what does 3 up and back mean? Like, what does, take, forward to first crosser? What does it mean to robot? Like all those terms I remember hearing from like Kyle Kogan and Dante Barty. I'm like, what in the world are y'all talking about? And then I had to like go to Spencer on the side. I'm like, hey man, what are the definitions of these terms? Right. So you need like a glossary, but what it does is it makes you a better teacher because now if you know the definition, you can feed back into whatever suck the fart, whatever y'all want to talk about. Like, what does that mean?
Right.
And
that's
make
also
that to the suck the fart drill,
I'm
whatever.
careful to not try to come up with too much verbiage because like
exactly.
on top of what you're teaching, you also got to teach this verbiage that might be great for, like you said, a meeting with a P4 guy.
Yeah.
That everyone's on the same page, but you're teaching it to a 15-year-old kid. And it's I don't have time to explain all these terms. Like,
I think the way that I look at it is I try to teach them more football without loading them.
Right.
And it's like, I want them to understand, hey, why do we have these different techniques that's called post 3 or 3 up or whatever we call it? Hey guys, here's why. You are on a 3-man side. So a lot of the times we're going to play some kind of bracket coverage if we're 2 high or some kind of man coverage if we're 1 high.
Right.
You need to understand that the center line going through the ball, that on this side it's zone, but on this side it might be man. So if a guy crosses to the man side, we have to have ways we're going to take care of that.
Right.
Is it going to be with the 4 to first guy who's checking based on back's location? Is it 3 up, which means if he goes, you got to take him? Or is it post 3 because we're 2 high and you have help behind you?
Right.
But I think that's where the more important verbiage is. Hey, this is the man side. This is going to be the passing strength is zone side. If they start attacking us going back to the man side, we have to know how to do it.
Right.
And sometimes it's just, hey, if he's a 3-up player, 2 or 3, whichever one comes to you, collision and run with him. That's all you got to say. You know what I mean? And they understand it.
Today's episode of Coach Speak is powered by our partners at Tsunami Bar Sports, the innovators behind one of the most explosive training tools in the game. If you've ever wondered how to build athletes who move fast, strike with violence, and maintain stability under load, this is where it starts. The Tsunami Bar isn't just another barbell. It's a completely different stimulus. The bar flexes and oscillates, forcing athletes to recruit stabilizers, produce force rapidly, and maintain posture through dynamic resistance. You get instant feedback, cleaner movement patterns, and more transfer to the field. In our own program, the Tsunami Bar has become a staple of power for development, speed, under strain, and building that real football strength, the kind that shows up on Friday nights. If you want to upgrade your weight room and develop athletes all the way to the top, go to tsunamibarsports.com, check out their full lineup, train fast, move strong, dominate the game. That's Tsunami Bar Sports.
And a lot of times when you explain the why, like, hey, dude, we're matched up over here. Like, everyone's going, you've got to take something back.
Just a shameless plug here for R4. That language model that Dub Max has created has really simplified the way we teach. So it's rhythm, read, rush, release is like the kind of the core tenets of a progression platform. Well, then you have things like, well, what is open ? Well, everybody's got that. Air raid guys is grass, some other guys that might be, if he's even, he's leaving. Well, he even has like a deeper model, but it's still simple. So we're able to rep that, and then the kids can use that language. So I think a good way to evaluate if your kids are understanding the language we're using, if they can use that back to you in a conversation.
Right.
And I think that's always something. If they can't, then I've always changed that. Even kind of in the minutia of like, whatever the route may be called or something like that. Like I've changed that because if it resonates with him, that's all I really care about.
Agreed. And I think my favorite part of having those conversations with linebackers is then they start thinking and you truly understand they understand what you're saying because they'll start asking you questions. Well, what happens if he runs a shallow? I said, well, all right, where's the running back at? Well, he's to the field too. I said, the 4 to first player don't have anybody in man coverage. He's playing basically weak hook, weak curl, maybe how you want to define it. He's like, okay, well, what if the back's weak and he runs a shallow? I said, well, we got to talk about take back rules. And then he'll say, all right, what if the back is strong and we get 3 on a dig and 2 on a shallow. He'll just start thinking through the different questions. And I'm like, I love it because that means he gets what we're trying to do. And that's why I like 7-on-7. That's where you can teach all of that.
100%.
And then you get in season, you may see it 6 times in 12 games. You know what I mean? It's
There's
like
sometimes my kids are like, when are we going to work pass drops? I'm like, bro, that was this summer. People are running the ball down our throat. Like, all that stuff is over. We're good.
Yeah, I think week 0, I looked at the kids. I said, "Hey guys, we didn't really work pass drops a lot this week. Don't worry about it. Stop the run. We'll worry about that later." Yeah,
and like a ton this year too. And like I know one of the questions was like your favorite or go-to pressures. We didn't see a ton of drop back progression passing. It was a lot of quicks or shots.
Dude.
It was never. We didn't see a ton of mess this year. And so
I'm telling you, Coach, it's everywhere, man.
Crazy.
It's across the country. We talk to guys in Oklahoma, California. It's wild, man.
It's all just quicks or it's shots. And so you drive yourself crazy. You're like, man, we're not getting to the quarterback. But then you got to look, okay, how are we affecting it? Like, is this ball having to get out of his hands? Do our DBs know this pressure? Hey, we can be a little bit more flat foot and nose down and go drive some stuff. And so, like, we had to dive into it midway through the year during our bye and, like, why are we not getting home? And it was quick game. Like, and that was it. So it's wild, man. It's been kind of a weird year.
I've never really seen anything like it. And I don't know why, because I feel like there's so many quarterback trainers. There's so many receiver trainers.
Right.
I don't know if people are getting out of the game and not coaching anymore. But like, it's like, I don't see 3-step and hey, we're going to go rhythm. And then I'm hitching up for like a intermediate dig route or a sail route. Or, I mean, you might see some sprint stuff for intermediate, but you're not seeing a lot of curl. Like it's just RPO, screen, and shots.
Yep. That's it.
I mean, it's wild, man.
That's all it's been.
Maybe it's because D linemen have been so dang good. You don't have time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been really looking at our season, and I was looking at the first 5 games earlier today, and it's like first 5 games, there were 161 passes in the first 5 games. And that's true passes, but 26 were verticals and 20 were screens. That's your top 2 categories, shots and screens. And it's like, and then I also, when I chart in huddle, like if they throw the glance on an RPO or throw any RPO, I chart that as a run, and then the result is complete. That way I know it's an RPO.
Yep.
And I think there were probably 30 of those. So it's, man, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks. It's the pass game's a dying breed, man. Like it is.
It's weird. It's weird right now.
It is. But well, Coach, we're going to kind of move on. We want to hear a little bit about your GA days, just to kind of give our listeners, and and I know Jamie and I are interested to hear, especially in the COVID, what, you hit on it a little bit earlier, but what do you think's the most underskill that a GA can have as a GA?
Definitely no job is too small. Like that's the biggest thing and especially an ex-player at that place. Like, I'm like, man, I've done my time here. Like, man, you're reset to ground zero and you get humbled really quick. I mean, I remember getting yelled at for not having the coffee ready in time. I'm sitting outside and it's like 32 degrees, but I'm having to check everyone's temp as they walk in the door and hand the mask to them. So all of those little things, laundry until 12 o'clock, 1 a.m., study hall. It kind of humbles you a little bit, but you got to know no job is too small. And it's even like that now, man. Like I'm very blessed to work on the staff I work with because, I mean, you almost have to race those guys to go do laundry. Like, I mean, they're awesome. I mean, really. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for me is nothing's too small.
Yeah. And, it's funny because, like, I love in clinics where the college coach is showing a drill with like a tackling ring, and there's like 3 guys that are fetching them and setting them back up for them. And I'm like, man, you're getting 15 reps in the time I'm going to get 2 because I got to go pick that tackling ring up and reset. So, but that's what I've always heard, man, is, I have a couple buddies who went that route, and I know some people who know people that went the route, and it was like, listen, like it's going to be bottom level jobs you don't even understand. And
Right.
then they said it's going to be high stress situations. Hey, practice starts in 15 minutes. The script needs to be changed. This isn't right. Like, we need to see this, and man, I can only imagine. And you shouted out one of our sponsors, Pro Quick Draw. If you're at the collegiate level and you're not using Pro Quick Draw, definitely need to get it, because it has saved a lot of time.
I wish it was around back then. It would have saved me a lot of hours. That'd been great.
And it makes you look like a real good coach. Like when you come up there, like whatever you're clinicking or whatever, man, you got that Pro Quick Draw up there, man. Dang, dude, this guy's got it.
Looks
so
good. Looks professional.
kind of get away with some stuff there a little bit. So, but coach, how much like freedom did you get as a GA? Like, were you able to talk to players and coach them, or or have any kind of insight on like game planning at Reinhardt?
Yeah. So I was in a unique situation where I did have to coach the linebackers for a little bit. But a bunch of those guys were guys I played with, and they respected me. It wasn't, I mean, typically it's a weird situation, but I didn't feel like it at the time. So I was pretty free in that realm. But in that coach's office, no. Keep your mouth shut.
That's awesome.
Even if you think you got a good idea.
Right.
Keep
I
your
heard,
mouth shut.
was it I think it was Kirby Smart and somebody else. Somebody I think was talking about a couple coaches, and they were like, there could be anybody in the room, and if they had some value to add to whatever they were doing, they would listen. I feel like that's a little bit hard to believe. They're like, yeah, the guy, the janitor back there is going to talk about like, hey man, I think we need to maybe blitz on third down more this week. I doubt that's the case in a lot of places. So that's hilarious.
I will say this. I want to give a little quick shout out to Gardner-Webb University. During spring, they would let you come up, obviously watch practice, and then you could go back and sit in their team meetings and stuff. And shout out to Coach Tim Cooper, the DC there. Obviously, everybody goes to the offensive side, and there's like 3 high school coaches on the defensive side. And he started the meeting off and said, listen, this is our film session. If you have questions or you want to say something, say it. That was the wrong thing to say to me, because I'm going to ask every question I got. Coach, hey, man, what's he keying here? What's he reading to know? Is he in or out to fit? And, like, he opened my eyes on a couple things. Like, they would play some of the stump stubby stuff, but they wouldn't play outside leverage of 2 in trips. They had them split apex and 2 and 3. And, like, just hearing some different reasons on why he did that. And I was like, well, this could give you trouble. But then, this does stop what we see a lot at the high school level. But just being able to feel like part of their staff, where he was like, man, ask questions. And I was like, okay, you opened it, Coach. I'm going to ask.
What's awesome is I get to go talk to those guys now. Like, obviously the staff has changed a lot, but like, I'm still keep up with Coach Miller all the time. And he is genuinely a great human being. So I go up there still in the off season and talk with their guys up there, and still get some good stuff from them. They got big into the rip blitz match world, which we found ourselves doing a lot more of, because we saw a ton of 12 personnel, and so we just match it up and roll.
Yep.
Couple scooch techniques here and there.
Love it, dude. And that's the best part. We talk about that verbiage and common terminology. It helps the different pass games. So like we're talking about, you see vertical shots and you see screens, RPOs. It allows the DBs to understand the timeline with their technique matched up. It's beautiful. I love Rip Liz Match. We did not run it this year because I took over late, and we know how long it can take to rep it and install it. But
we sold out to it at Cannon. That's what we did year 3. Man, it's just really, really good. There's a ton of different ways you can do it. We just stayed one high the whole time. We didn't rotate. We actually slung it and kind of went with motion with our safeties, but other than that, it was pretty good.
It wasn't too bad for us, just because we did run a lot of special, and so we kind of taught it like that. So we ran a version of stubby, and then we also ran special where we're locked on one. So we kind of got to use that and be like, hey guys, it's almost like this, except this is different. So it was an easy transition.
So what I found out was, after my first year, like truly into it, all the concepts that were hurting us, I taught with Dante and my buddy Spencer and Kyle, and it was like packaging a too high man match world to protect it was a big thing that we dove in a couple years ago. And do you always like to play outside leverage with your nickel or your star is in that, or do you mess with it? Like, how do you
It depends the spacing.
Gotcha. Yep. Spacing
like if it's super wide out there,
Yeah.
our guys know, like, we're probably not going to be able to match or pass this.
Sure.
Like, we're going to
Yep.
lock it.
Yep.
And so if he's really far out there and we
Yep.
lock it, go ahead and get back inside leverage.
Gotcha. Yep.
We try to let our guys have some freedom out there. And I tell them, like, don't be a dumb football player. Can you really pass this off if it's this wide? No. Like, lock it up and we got to roll.
Yeah.
So they've gotten really good at that. And we were super young in the secondary this year. So it was a little rough at the beginning. But as summer passes, you get a lot of 7-on-7 reps. And then throughout the season, they got a lot better at knowing when. And we had a kid in the middle that had done it for 3 years. And so he's kind of back there directing traffic, telling everyone what to do. So we were very fortunate with that this year as well.
Are there a lot of teams in y'all's area or region that are running a lot of rip lists or pattern match stuff? Or are y'all kind of unique in that?
I think we're pretty unique in that. A lot of people have been going to just straight trap, cloud, or just
palm,
man it up.
Yeah, combo stuff where you're split field. That's mainly what we get. We don't have much match at all. Yeah, probably because guys aren't throwing it as much.
Well, it all, but that's where people like 2 or 3 years ago when I started learning the fit world, the spacings and all of that, that was where it started making a lot of sense to me, especially when we were at Cannon. It was, people are going to run the ball. We need to be in minimum a neutral fit. If we try to be -1 in the fit, we are going to get smoked. And like, for example, there were times back then we had 7 in the box versus 11 personnel or 20, and we couldn't stop them. I darn sure ain't going 6 in the box versus 11 and 20 if we can't stop them with 7. But, man, it's my favorite coverage by far, even though we didn't run it this year. Man, it's if you run it the right way, the only thing that can hurt you is the fallouts and the comebacks, which that's going to hurt you.
Your corner's
it's going to hurt you in anything.
Anything. Spot drop 3, it's going to kill you too.
But it's going to hurt you in anything.
Your corner's just got to be real, real good, I think. That's the one thing you got to have. Your 2 best DBs, I think, in my mind, have to be corner if you're going to play some match. So, all right, Coach, now we're talking about defense. Let's kind of move on to, coaching linebackers and safeties and whatnot. But what are the 2 or 3 non-negotiables for linebackers that you always teach?
For both positions, it was feet and eye discipline. At the end of the day, if your first step is wrong, there's a good chance you're not making that play. And I have a ton of cutouts from this year that I get to show my guys, like, hey, you had a false step here and you were 1 yard from making that play. That's the difference between you making a TFL and then getting 6 yards. So I preach that every day. That's a non-negotiable. The big thing for me is eye transition, right? So a lot of people teach triangle reads. I kind of do. It depends who you are and how long you've been playing. So I tell my guy, they're seeing through the palm of their hand when they first start, and then we can kind of expand that vision as we go. So day one, it's going to be guard reads, but my eyes now have to transition to the back. So it's guard to back. Now, some of my older guys, they can see that center guard back and be pretty good at it. But the biggest thing is getting that eye transition to the back, because that's going to tell you a lot. And we do it a lot where that guard pulls, and now I got to pick up, okay, where's the path of that back? Is it a wide path? Is the shoulders turned at me? I got a down block. They're probably running duo, or not a down block, but duo at me. So all those different things, and especially safety.
Yeah, and safeties too. So what are safeties looking at? Are they looking at tackles, or what are they kind of looking
So I'm all for backfield.
Okay.
So the year before I coached safeties, I spent the whole offseason of just kind of studying what are people looking at pre-snap, because I've never been a guy that just likes to stare at my number 2 receiver and then not really know what's going on in the box. And so I was looking at the spot of the quarterback in mesh. If there's a true mesh and you're on the spot, that ball's probably not going very deep. It's not going more than 10 yards, more times than not. But if it is a just lousy play action read and now they're off the spot, that's our green light to go. So I would kind of teach a green light, yellow light. Hey, if that ball is in belly and we got a true mesh and they're on that spot, we're yellow light. It is a slow scooch, getting ready nose down to drive some, maybe a glance or coming up to fit the run. But if he's off that spot, we can really start pedaling, getting out. And now our eyes transition to our number 2 receiver.
Yeah. No, man, that's huge. And the thing I think is so important also as we're talking through all this is your entire staff has to be aligned in your scheme and understand what you're trying to execute. I know early on, like I said, I stepped into a coordinator spot at late, and the way that we fit the run is a lot different than how a lot of people fit the run.
Mm-hmm.
And so and when we decide to spill pools in our call, whenever that may be, there's no other chance. Like it's no, oh, we got to make the DL right. Like if we call a certain call and we're going to spill pools, there's no other option. You are going to sacrifice your body and you're getting inside of that guy. I don't care if you can make the play. That's not what you're doing. And there's a fine line in being a robot and playing football, but it's like you may win that one time, but the next 3 times they run it and they realize that's how you're playing it, we are going to get gassed. Yeah. And so that's a big thing for me. Something I worked on this year, Coach, especially teams we saw a lot. There were some teams that would run like guard kick and 1 back. They'd run H counter and 11 personnel, but they would also run like dart and pull the tackle. Yep. So if you fixate on just like one guy, it's hard. So I started teaching gaps to back. So like, hey, let's read the B gap. And then like, I know some people that pull the center. If they pull centers and guards a lot, we're going to read the A gap. And like, guys, this is tougher, but when I say read the gap, you got to see both of their shoulders, because if either one of their shoulders leaves, we got to obviously adjust. But that was something this year. I was like, we're seeing teams that are running guard pull, tackle pull, center pull, all in the same game. And it's like, we really have to have a wider vision. And a big thing that I learned from Kyle and Dante was the action to coverage and the coverage to action stuff. So understanding, especially in 2 high calls, when you're out the fit, but that doesn't mean negate looking at your whatever your keys or reads are. If you still need to see mesh, or you still need to see tackle or guard, you might be out the fit, but you still need to play football, you know? Correct. So, man, I love talking ball, and just a couple of things you said has kind of just sparked me a little bit to ask some more questions down the line, but that's awesome. Jamie, what are you thinking about dialing up, hearing all of this stuff, man? I know you know a lot of it, but you know.
Well, no, I think one of the things that just it's true on both sides. It's like I always try to fight against the positive outcome with poor procedures or process. So like, you don't read the guards and you go make a play. You know, you guessed right, or you know, you're at safety and you're not keying, you know, the mesh in the backfield, but you somehow get a pick or something like that. Like same thing is true for quarterbacks. You know, it's like you didn't have the proper drop, you didn't have the proper eye scan, but yet you threw a touchdown. And then now that may help you in that moment, but it's probably going to hurt you down the line. And I think just coaching through that takes a lot of discipline from the coach, because you want to get excited too. And then you start second guessing, like, man, maybe I don't need to teach it like that anymore. You know, maybe I do need to let this guy go play. But then, you know, time after time, it always seems like it always catches up to you and like the most, you know, inopportune times. So, but you know, that's just kind of where I'm at with all this too. It's just it translates to both sides.
Especially, you know, for me, when you are a big over team and they're running a lot of counter, the Mike or whatever backer you want to call him, the Mac, wherever he's aligned, the guy that the play side double team's going to, if you're 1 second or half a second behind, you're going to get blocked. And now you have to defeat a block. And it's like, our linebacker would come to the sideline sometimes and say, man, I just got to read my keys better. Like he would know. He's like, man, they're in my grill. Like I can't make the play. I'm like, I said, because you're stepping this way and they're pulling, and then you got to redirect. Like, come on, man. So, but he was a great kid. He made a lot of great plays too. A great kid. One of the best linebackers I've been around. Coach, what do you think? Maybe young coaches or coaches who've been in this for a long time, what do you think they overcomplicate when coaching defense that can be a lot more simple?
I'm gonna be honest, a lot. Like, so we do multiple, like we are a true multiple defense, and we've transitioned more to 4 down this year. I'm a big 4 down guy. So I got to have heavy hands on doing some of that stuff. But like we went from 3-3 stack 3 high with the same personnel. We can drop down to our 3-4, and then we can shift into our 4 down, all with the same personnel. Now, the problem is that's a ton of gap exchange, right? So I'm just going to be honest, my linebackers are not going to know when they have gaps and when they don't. The only thing I really preach on is if the back is away from me, I'm telling myself right now I'm a fast fitter downhill, because I know that ball more than likely is coming at me. If we have a same side team, obviously we'll game plan for that. More times than not, I'm going to go fit downhill. I'm going to fit it cloudy to clear. I don't necessarily tell them, hey, man, you got a gap right here. It's cloudy to clear. If the back's away from you and you get a mesh point, go attack cloudy to clear. If it's cloudy, we'll scrape, and you're going to spill the guard. And so my guy that's to the back, we're going to be a little bit more patient. We're going to be ready to stack and fall back, or we can scrape over the top of that tackle. And so that footwork is more lateral footwork than getting downhill. Because a lot of times if we get too far downhill on that backside, the tackle has a really good ankle. So when your footwork is more lateral and that ball's going away, now the tackle has to do one or two things. One, he's got to take an extreme angle to get to your upfield shoulder. And now we've created space off of his butt where we can dip and rip and get flat. Or he's too tight, we can just punch, arm over, and get over top. And so that's kind of the main coaching points for me is making it simple. Because now I don't really have to teach gaps. Like it's more of, hey man, if it's open and meshes at you, go get it. Like,
and get them playing faster.
Well, it's more, the more you want to do and the more you want to give, the less you got to, or the less you got to take. It's like,
correct.
if you want to stay 4 down the whole time, you can have very high standards, set expectations of gap integrity and how that gap integrity changes. But to your point, when you're going odd, dropping the jack, or the jack's coming at the snap, or you're going to start in 4 down, like, you got to give somewhere, because it can't be perfect every single time. But that's where every position group comes in, because he knows, all right, I'm a fit cloudy to clear. Pull happens, that changes my track, changes everything based on the pull. But you got to trust the other position groups going to do what they're going to do, or like, and he's got to be there in the cloudy to clear with the D tackle. You know what I mean? He's got to make him right. So it's like, it's just a big complementary thing, you know. And I like that you hit on the point of being multiple, and like you're like, you know what? I don't overcomplicate it. You don't have this gap, like you're downhill, man, and you're going to feel where we need to feel at.
The less they think, the better.
Yeah. And I think too, like, good linebackers have a really good knack for that. You know, we've always just scouted these guys over and over and over. We've done all these accelerators, and it's like, man, the guy just makes a bunch of dang tackles. And I don't, you know, it's like sometimes we don't know if he's reading or not. And but it's just like kind of like quarterback. It's like, you know, if it didn't come down to personnel, then dang, every quarterback would go out there and throw for 75%, you know, 250 yards a night. Like they got to have that feel of anticipation and awareness. And, you know, we're just there to kind of guide them through that and give them some sort of guardrail to operate within a system. But man, like, turn them loose, they can play better.
And that was my biggest thing early, was like over coaching some things. Like, I have to know not every fit's going to be perfect, but do we fit it the right way? Were we tied off the fit? Because at the end of the day, there's some teams that are really good and they're going to kick you. Like, even if you preach to spill, really good teams are going to find a way to kick you. Can the backside guy, was he under control? Did he get off the tackle to make you right? And it worked out a ton this year for us. We had a lot of success on it. So looking forward to actually having a full offseason with these guys, because I was a safeties coach up until summer. So like I spent all of my offseason with the safeties and then walked into the linebacker room in spring and summer. So looking forward to actually getting those foundational pieces set in January and February.
How was that transition for you? How did that go for you?
I loved it. So I played linebacker my entire life. I played in college, but college is where I really got the concept of all these puzzle pieces fitting together to create I mean, we were really good defense around Hart. We were 4-2-5, cover 4 every single snap. And there wasn't any formation you could throw out there that we didn't have a check to. So I got to call that stuff and make those checks and have a thorough understanding of what's going on in the back end. So that kind of helped my transition to safeties. Is I already know these rules. Now it was more so the fundamentals of it. And so I really had to spend some time meeting with some people about their beliefs. What's the right footwork? Is it better to scooch? Is it better to pedal? Is it better to crossover run? What, like, especially like the stubby conversation. All right, we're outside leverage. Do you scooch or are you turning and running? Crossover run. We still have that conversation every day. So
what did y'all get? Where did you get to on that one?
We're still a crossover run for sure.
Is that just easier for most high school players?
It is. Your hips are already open, man. If you run vertical, I'd rather cover that than you hit a bomb over top when you can just check it down to a 3 out. If we don't get to it in time, we rally and tackle. So
did you guys hear Saban talking about back pedal? Saban doesn't like back pedals.
No, I saw that.
He's a turn open guy. Was that today?
I saw that today. Yeah, I saw it today.
He was like, man, he said, man, the guy ran a 4.8. You know how he does his hands. He ran a 4.8 and he never backpedaled.
Wasn't that an old video?
It's a really old video.
Yeah. I'm sure he's changed something from then. Yeah, I'm sure he's changed.
I mean, like a lot of our kids, it's just easier for them to have their hips already open. The only caveat to it is if you get anything out You got a long way to flip your hips. Whether it's, I mean, you can be really good at speed turn, but
already outside
getting
leverage.
back
but
to that
yeah.
3
Because like, do you
Mhm.
teach outside on top with that? Like if
Yep.
he's vertical and no out, like he's got to.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the hardest part. So like in 2x2, when we're playing a corner bracket with outside leverage by the nickel, it's the same rules,
Right.
and it's like, man, that's tough if he's not a true third corner. You know what I mean? Like it's so you got to kind of.
We ran into that a lot
It's-
this year as personnel in our star. Like, I mean, we
Yes.
What is your
we
belief
switched
on
out our
that,
personnel
Coach?
tone. Depends who you're
What-
playing.
Okay.
At like football is cyclical right now. Like if you look at Indiana, they genuinely line up in a base defense with 3 linebackers and 4 D linemen, and they still run all their stuff. I mean, like their pick yesterday was non-traditional Tampa with that backside safety inverting.
Saw that, yeah.
But they were still doing it out of their base personnel. Oregon's doing the same thing right now. Like they are keeping base personnel on the field because of the 12P you're seeing. Now, if you just got that freak athlete at star that is a grown man but could also run a 4.5, that's awesome. We don't have that. If you do have it, tell him he would look great in purple. But no, I mean, we got some littler corners that are going to go out there on 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, and they'll play the star position. If we got more heavy personnel, we'll throw out a thicker star.
Yeah. And I think this year our base personnel was 4-3, and we mixed in nickel. But what we would do is take one of the linebackers and move him to jack and get a D lineman off the field. So it was really odd nickel, you know what I mean? But what I found was when we hit region time, game 6, that's when we really knew what we were good at and what we could do in each personnel. And like you said, depending on who we were playing, but we got to a point where like teams were like almost changing personnel every 2 plays. And like we were trying to match them. And I was like, dude, screw this. We're going to run base 4-3. That's what we got. And then if we're getting beat athletically in space with the pass game, then we'll get to nickel. But you know, it's, you know, because you'd have teams that would start in 1-back trips and end up in, you know, 11 personnel. And then your answer to that, you got to be aware is, hey, they just took trips and they put a H-back weak. So is the backer that's weak, is he going to be able to handle any wheel route from the H-back if he's an athletic kid? And it's just there. What I will say, I am so thankful I learned offense first before going to defense, because when I'm charting film, for example, and I see a team play 3 different games and I'm charting all their counter clips, I'm like, okay, this team was a tight front team. This team was an even front team. This team was odd, even spacing. And sometimes they'd move the 4 to a 5 or whatever. And thankfully, I know all of the run blocking adjustments. You know what I mean? Like, okay, why are they arcing the tackle? Well, it's because the front they're seeing. You know what I mean? And like vice versa, when I first came to defense, like being an offensive guy, we'd always talk, well, how do you block counter versus this, and this? It's the same thing for defense. When you ask like Saban, and I've never been able to ask him this, I'd love to. Hey, what version of flex 7 are you going to play here? Well, it depends what we're seeing, because he thinks the same way. We're going to play the best man match quarters we can based on all the route combinations that they like to run. And it's like, I think it's just, if I didn't know offense like that, I would be like, all right, guard pull with the art, you know, and it would look like all these different plays you got to
not know the why, but not know the why behind it, or as much, or take longer to figure that out. Yeah. For sure.
Yep.
So, Coach,
No
what
doubt.
do you believe, like with overall scheme? I know you guys do a lot. You know, what do you think there's I guess just talk to us a little bit about like how much scheme do you really need to have an elite high school defense?
This episode is also brought to you by Team Builder, the strength and conditioning platform trusted by over 6,000 programs, all the way from high school, major collegiate athletics, and the NFL. As coaches, we all know the hardest part of running a strength program, it isn't writing the workouts. It's managing them, tracking the progress, organizing groups, communicating with athletes, and actually just keeping everything consistent. Team Builder does all of that for you. Building fast programs, automating progressions, delivering daily workouts straight to your athletes' phones. You can track every rep, set, and metric in real time. Cleans up your entire operation. We use Team Builder in our own strength program, and it's completely streamlined the way that we train, track, and communicate with our athletes. If you're ready to take your strength conditioning department to the next level, go to teambuilder.com. Use the promo code CoachSpeak for a free 30-day trial.
Depend your guys. I mean, this year we were very blessed. This was one of the best teams we've had since the team that won state in 2016. I mean, just genuinely speaking, we were very blessed this year. So we didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Years past, we've done a lot. and it was to cover up some things that we thought might get exposed on a Friday night. So this year we actually did a really good job of keeping it simple, and our kids got to play fast. But we also had really young kids in the secondary, so we really couldn't do a ton in the secondary.
Yeah.
So we had to look at some of those things. I think it comes down to fundamentals. Like,
Yeah.
can you get off blocks? Can you tackle?
Yep.
Can you line up? And I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, there's a ton that you watch years past of our kids. Our kids play hard as heck, man. I mean, genuinely, they play their tail off. And there's a lot of times we're gapped out. We're not in the right defense. We're in stacked defense versus a tight end wing getting down blocked on, and we still find a way to tackle it for 3 yards. It genuinely comes down to getting to the football, getting off blocks, and making tackles.
Yeah, a lot of it's culture. You're saying a lot of it's like culture over scheme in a lot of ways.
A little bit of background on Cartersville. We're a city school. So from the time those kids are in pre-K, they are a Purple Hurricane until they graduate, and they are brainwashed. I love this place. Like, I coach PE at the primary school, and those kids come in every Friday. The girls come in little cheer outfits. All the boys come in Cartersville football jerseys, and it is like life or death every Friday for those kids, man. It is amazing.
And you get to see the little pipeline coming through, man.
That's man. Cool. Like, so this senior class, I coached them when they were in 8th grade.
Wow.
And so they are often graduating now. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like,
flies, man.
So it's a cool place, man.
Yeah, I think the more I look at it, man, and I think about like having too much scheme in or not enough, is it comes down to, one, what can our kids handle?
Yep.
But 2, what's the other team going to do? You know, right. Like if I watch 4 games on you and you are not changing your schemes or your play calls at all, and I know you're going to run what you run, I'm not going to overthink it on my end. Right. It's like, you know, and some people were able to do that because of personnel, because they're like, dude, I'm going to run wide zone and he's going to find a cut. He's going to hit it and he's going to find something. And if we only get 3 yards when I call it, so be it. I'll call it again in a couple plays and he'll probably break one. But it comes down to me, how many horizontal runs versus vertical runs are we seeing that week? Mm-hmm. And then how can we put the best kid in to force it and the best kid to run inside out on it? That's really run fit wise how I've been looking at it each week. Yep. How many outside runs do they have? How many inside runs do they have? And are they going to pick on us because we're faster and smaller? Yep. Or are they still going to try to run outside and that fits our personnel well? You know what I mean? That's how I've been looking at the run game. And then the pass game stuff, there's not enough of it for me to go, oh, we played one team this year that's like true air raid, and like this year they really weren't, because their quarterback's a much better runner than he was thrower. Mm-hmm. I say that he threw for a lot of yards, but it's like they weren't running mesh and a lot of cross and a lot of this. They're running fast screens, hitches, and sticks. And I was like, man, I get to open it up. We were going stubby. We were playing Seahawk, what Bama calls it, where you 3 up. We're corner blitzing, bracketing the X. I had so much fun. But guess what? We were minus in the run, and they ate us up in the run. You know, it's like you got to try to just figure out within your menu what do you want to do versus what you're going to see.
I'm about saying also it comes down to us sometimes is how much time do you have at practice to actually work all this stuff? Like, there was a ton of calls we would run in practice, and then you turn on the game film, and it's like, man, do we really need to spend practice time on this? And that was a ton of conversation. But also, we never want to get stuck and not have a second answer and a third answer. So I feel like we've struggled in the past of finding that balance of like, all right, we worked this a ton in practice, man, but is it valuable to our kids if we don't run it in the game?
Yes.
So I think that's been one of our biggest things. And I think we did a much better job at it this year of getting the reps in practice that we're going to get Friday nights, as opposed to running all this stuff in practice and then never seeing it in game.
Yeah. And I talked with Jamie a lot about this this year. I said, man, and I've said it before, I love the teams that only run a few formations, because then my menu grows. But if you run more formations, my menu shrinks, you know. And it's not that, oh, I'm scared to put the stuff in. No, I want to be aligned correctly, and
you got to be lined up right. Yeah.
So it's like, but my thing is, if we see 4 to 7 formations, I'm going to have minimum have 2 calls with a chance of 3. But what you really like to do a lot, or what you one or two formations. I know, like we played one team like late in the season, week 8 or 9 or 10, and they're 78% passing one back and they're 75% run and 11 personnel.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So my
Right.
whole game call, I'm going after you with what you have done. Now, you may come out and you may switch it up. Well, guess what? We'll adjust when you do that. But we're going to have a bunch of passes and sims and pressures because you throw the ball out of this. And that's what I like to do. And that's what I love having Jamie, me and him on the same staff, because I'll go to him and say, hey, man, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd have a hard time blocking that.
Man, you get you defensive guys, man. Just call base. Just y'all go out the game plan. Throw the call sheet out. Just call base.
If you call base, a kid can still screw up and get a TFL. But in offense, if the OL screws up, it's probably gonna be a really bad play.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, who's calling that play? Well, hell, I didn't block them.
So our second round matchup this year, our entire whiteboard is filled left to right with no space. And we have like a multi-layer that moves around complete 36 formations.
Dang. Yeah.
Second round playoffs. And it was a bunch of quads. It was empty with a sniff, and they're running power read with a quarterback that was 6'3", 220, but like a baby Cam Newton. Like I was like, holy crap. Like this is awful.
Yeah.
It was 36 formations, and it's all overset. So you're trying to get your kids to recognize, hey, tight end eligible, or hey, tackle's eligible, and he's about to run a vertical. Like it.
All the and what was fun this year is there's a guy. He's not coaching anymore. He's going to be an AD at a new high school that's opening up. But the last 4 games of the season, we played like the same 4 teams after we played each other, but in different order. So we would text each other back and forth. I'd be like, man, he's like, man, this team, they do so much stuff. I'm like, dude, I said, man, when we played them, like, and he came from the college world, but they're shifting and motioning and moving and doing all this. And I'm like, dude,
makes it hard.
We're going to see what we can do. It doesn't make it easy. I'll tell you that.
It really limits what you can call because you got to get lined up right.
And I think where I've grown, you said something earlier, I've definitely grown in is the run fit's not going to be perfect. And I've had to grow in that. Being an offensive guy, I want the run scheme blocked perfectly. So when I came to defense, I was like, I want the fit perfectly. Well, that's on a board. That's not in real life. So I've had to grow in that. Another thing that I've had to grow in is I always wanted to have the perfect pressure call. So, hey, if I make a call and it's a pressure, I want to be able to do this versus trips and this versus 2x2, but this versus, well, coach, what if it's Trey with the tight end? So I've grown in the realm of, hey, we're going to bring strong side pressure, spin and play some kind of 3 flood coverage. And if it's 2x2, we're going to play buzz. He's going to have to play hook. We just have to figure it out. And that end's going to drop. Like, I've just accepted that sometimes our personnel may not be able to fit the run. So we're going to take a chance and we're going to send the mic, especially in a 4-3 defensive. And that's what we did a little bit this year. It's like understanding you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to take chances. It's not going to be perfect, but it happens. And guess what? Sometimes you're successful and sometimes it gets you. It is what it is. It's like calling a shot on the offense. Sometimes you're going to get sacked. Sometimes you're going to complete it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like too, like offensively, I give the defensive guys a little bit too much credit sometimes because I'm like, okay, not going to blitz the star without going man, or they're not going to, they're not going to blitz the wheel without doing some sort of like, nah, man, they'll just do it. They'll just bring the guy to the field, away, he's away from the back. So they know they're probably going to get him clean. And then we just throw like, hitch right in behind him like hot. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess they're not going to do man, it's just, but that's, it's not sound, but sometimes they get away with it sometimes they get away with it against us. And obviously they've done it against other teams. So yeah, sometimes you got to gamble a little bit.
Yeah. There was a team this year that we didn't play that great against, and I was trying anything I could to stop them. The weak side running 2 back. And there was one time we played 3 to the field and I blitzed the corner weak and we played 0. And I'm like, oh, well, we don't have middle field guy. Hopefully don't throw a seam. Like, but I was like, don't do that again. Don't do that again. But Jamie, to your point, it's like, a lot of people run fire zones or just blitz and leave a zone wide open and just say, well, if they throw it there, we'll try to make the tackle.
Well, they're not going to probably score.
A lot of that.
I mean, everybody's playing like a 2-high shell behind it. And it's like, well, if you just hit this, I mean, we'll go up to 10, 15 yards. But
yeah, I'm all about rolling to replace it.
I mean, me too, man. My defense ain't going to be doing that.
I feel like it's my OCD kicks in, and I'm like, there's a big space right here, especially on a high school football field, man. You start drawing that shit on the board, and then you get out there and start running, and you're like, it's a lot of space.
Well,
Like,
it's like the whole coaches get away with it, and they think they can get away with it against a decent play caller, defensive, a decent offensive scheme, and it's like, be careful, big dog.
Space.
Yeah,
a lot of space.
What I do think's okay for people who want to do that is if you give a hot call, is what I call it, hot or cold. It's like if you give the hot call, that just tells him if you get run or pass, however you want to teach it, you can go and speed up your gap. But it's like he's still got to key that guard before he does anything. So he knows, because the worst thing you can do is give like a ghost stunt call, and he has B gap. And then the guard pulls and he just inserts in the gap that's not there anymore. Like that's the worst thing you can see. So it's like, but I'm with y'all. Something about my eye just does not fit. Hey, we're going to play quarters, but I'm going to blitz both curl flat players. Good luck, dude.
Seen it, dude. I saw it this year, man. Like double freaking. Oh, coach, we're in cover 0. No, dude, you're playing 12 yards off the ball. You ain't for 0, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not even flat footed, But then, heck, I hate to see the teams that load the box and play man. You can't do nothing about it. That's the hard part.
All right, Coach, moving into our final segment, kind of the fun part, rapid fire, just to kind of pick your brain. Jamie, I'm going to go first because I want to hear his answer on this. If you could go GA for one more year, any program of your choice, under any coach of your choice, to learn from a mastermind, what school and what coach are you going to GA for?
I'm probably going to go to Georgia. I mean, I feel like you got to. You got to go hear what Kirby has to say. You got to go hear what Glenn has to say. Yeah,
love it,
100%.
Man, Kirby did such a good job in his interview. He named like the defensive coordinator, the defensive coach, and Dustin, you highlighted this to me the other night. He said, "Man, what a great leader to identify every single like person on staff, and then at the end say that's not my defense.
Not my
that's
defense.
What they did." And that man, that how humble, how what a leader, that somebody's going to want to go coach for that guy or play for that guy. Like, you don't get that a lot, man, and a lot of these coaches.
Yep.
All right,
Coach. She was like, "Go ahead."
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I'm going to Oregon. Like
that was my second one.
I've already said Schumann and Georgia on a couple past episodes, so if I keep getting some more of these, I'm gonna go to Oregon. Knowing Dante and Kyle a little bit, but like, man, when I listen to Dan Lanning speak, I think he has such a grasp on like being a good dude outside of the scheme, but like understanding like there's things that I think I'm weak in that he's really good in. And even don't get me wrong, scheme wise, like he still would be a masterclass, but it's like I want to go and hear him on all the other things that, you know what I mean? That's why I'd pick them.
I don't know. I think I would go, man, can't believe I'm about to say this. Man, Indiana right now.
I almost said that too.
Dude, there's something about that guy that reminds me more and more of Saban. Like, he's always mad. He's always got some like little chippy one-liner. He's like a mix of Saban and maybe like a Spurrier. He's just kind of got that snarkiness. He's snarky.
Yeah, he's a little bit more cocky.
He's very cocky. But something about what he's doing is he's getting those kids to play really, really hard, and they believe in it. And I mean, good gracious, I think that's the story of the last several years in college football. Just to see what they're doing. I mean, I don't even know. It might not be anything, but that's something I'd like to go see. All right, Coach. Most challenging run scheme to fit. Let's say it's 11 personnel.
Duo, same side duo.
And why is
that? RPO attached to it. If you don't align correctly, you don't have enough hats. Like if you sit in 30s and your star is displaced to the 2 receiver playing RPO, you don't have enough hats. They're just going to cut it right off the sniff's butt. So what I do, anytime it's pistol or back and sniff or same side, and it is a heavy duo team, we're going to go ahead and get into a -10 and a 50. And then that backside safety is going to be more of a skate technique. We'll roll him down and almost looks like a 4-3 box. Yeah. You just got to be okay with being soloed up with your backside corner. But we had a lot of success. We actually saw a lot of duo this year. So we were really big in that alignment this year. And it worked out a lot. I mean, they'd cut it right to the 50 backer. That's a really hard block for that sniffing tackle to get up to that 50 backer. And if they do, we're hitting that eyes inside, and that ball's got to bounce even wider. And now that ball has to roll off the table a little bit slower rather than hitting fast.
Yeah, if you're not going to be neutral in the fit, it's hard to stop. Duo. We saw it a fair amount this year. There was one team that would run power, same side power, and as soon as they crossed the green zone, it was duo. They weren't going to pull anybody with the chance of run throughs. Team we played second round of playoffs with that really good running back, they ran a lot of duo, but versus them, I felt like we were better on the back end than their quarterback was. So we played a lot of one high, and like you said, and they were 12 personnel duo. So it's like, the near tight end H-back on the same side, and now you got essentially two guys that are soloed up, how you want to play that. But, like you said, we were more of a 4-3 this year, and a lot of teams love to do it out of trips H-back, and, we played the 0-0 hip alignment away from the H. And then we could still almost apex the H-back side, and get a little too high, look in, and then spin strong. But to me, if you're trying to play true 4-2, 2 on the roof, and play your defense, yes, duo's tough. If you're a 4-3 and you're going to play one high, I mean, it's not tough, but there's other things that they get ready to do that's getting ready to be tough. Jamie, what do you think? Offensive guy, what do you think a scheme you run that's the best? You know what I'm gonna say, but you
I mean, I think I don't know, man. I just think buck sweep's pretty hard to stop at times because you're having to fit it with guys that typically don't fit. I think it's got great angles. That's just been real good for us. It's not even been our number one run, but I think it's definitely something that may give teams some issues. We're not very good at wide zone, so we're a big gap team. So that guy kind of got us a wide zone or at least an outside run. But I think I don't know, man. If you can run buck, man, that's a tough one to fit.
Buck is
if you can't get
if it's a really good buck
penetrating
sweep team, it's
defensive
tough.
end. Yeah, you get a guy, you get a reach block, you got some yards.
And you're talking
every
about
time
Jamie,
you got yards.
You're talking about like buck with the crack, correct?
Yeah, we're going to take our inside our first receiver outside the tackle, and we're going to crack what we call the point man, which is the first linebacker inside the apex line.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Then we just reach with the H back, and then we get both guards out if we to a 3-man to a 3 technique.
Especially a 4-2 box, that's tough. Because that safety's got to come out
the roof.
He's
got. I'll take that. I'll take that one.
And a lot of people will go same side buck with the glance. That way, if the safety comes out the roof for buck, good luck. But man, I'm gonna say option football, the counter bash world. Like that stuff to me is tough because it kind of ties into Jamie's point. You're asking guys to do stuff they don't typically do now. You gotta, if you're not playing zero, there's gonna have to be someone from the back end come in the fit to help make it, or you got to be really good from a personnel standpoint and cancel gaps and a guy play 2 people. But
you're talking about, man, anytime you get a running quarterback situation, it's like good gracious, pick your poison on that.
Yep.
Triple option. You get standard veer, you got quarterback power, like you're saying, GT bash, Q buck. Ooh,
we saw some midline out of gun this year. It was pretty tough.
Sick off the 3 technique. Yeah.
Oh, it was tough.
What's I think it comes more into how can we build the scheme this week to force the ball to where we want it to go. That's
an option football. Yes.
And it's we played a team like game 4 this year, and they took us to the woodshed. But there were 3 run plays out of split back. It was power read, true counter, and counter bash. And it was like, okay, we can take this play away, but it's going to hurt us on these other 2. So it was like we tried to be super sound in 2, and we still were sound in the 3rd one, which was counter bash. But we, like y'all said, it's option football, so a safety's got to help.
Safety's got to come play.
And I don't know if we didn't do a good enough job coaching it. That's what I'm going to put it under. We didn't do a good enough job coaching it. But yeah, that was power read wasn't very good for him, and counter went very good. But man, bash had its moments. But then what I hate that happens is you're teaching the defensive end to squeeze on counter bash, and we're forcing the sweep. And then he feels like he's got to do more than he has to. And now when they run counter or power read, he's not squeezing like his coach to, and now everything's opened up. That's something I'm going to try to be better as a coach on trying to, when things are going wrong, make sure they're still, listen,
Do your
here's
job.
the issue. Here's we're going to fix it. Do your job. Continue to do it. Because our Mike that game also, we read guards. We're getting GT pull. He's going to the fit with the counter. And he's like, he's thinking the whole night, I'm wrong. No, buddy, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because the 2 times the quarterback pulled it, it was stuffed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
And I don't mind going down this road a little bit, but like I remember always playing like these flex bone triple option teams. And so like my dad was defense coordinator, long time in this area. And he would always have several ways to fit it. So like he would go with like, the 2-2s, 2-5s, whatever. Then he'd go like with like a bear front. But then he would play, sometimes the nines will be a quarterback player. Sometimes those guys are, maybe they're playing a little bit tighter inside, maybe trying to play some, if they're running wide veer, now he's got to be a dive player, so I think having different ways to do that, to kind of change up the read for some of those guys, for some of those quarterbacks, that's for me, an offensive guy. Yeah. If you're doing it one way, we're going to probably get you at some point.
And that was what we did with some of our pressures this year is one, with our pressures, they weren't necessarily meant to get home. It was more so to cut that ball back.
Yes.
So there was that aspect to it because we faced a lot of zone this year. But then we also had the blitzes for power read because we were getting at it empty, which is kind of tough because you're wanting to play because they did a lot out of it. I mean, they still ran verts. So you're still wanting to play your stubby to the field, but you also got to make sure the run fits right when they motion over quads because they did a lot out of it. And so we had some pressures that made, okay, this time the end, instead of squeezing down, he's going to shoot upfield, and now the backer is going to become the dive player. So some of those different things helped us a lot in that game as well.
It's also now, you talking about that, a lot of teams that go 3-by-2 empty, and then the running back will be that 2 weak, and they'll jet him to the trips, like you're saying, and now the entire quarterback run game's open. Bash, power read, like all of those things. I mean, it's just,
yeah.
They were doing it with a stiff, and they'd pull him backside too. I mean, it was
that's tough.
Yeah.
What's your go-to pressure like in general? Like say it's just four open, 10P. What do you like to work? And maybe that's not. I know you like pressure versus inside zone, maybe out of that. But what about for like dialing up?
I just like send it to the back. I want to get a one-on-one back as fast as possible and try to affect the quarterback. Also, if you run it, so what we've done this year with our ends, instead of slanting, we're actually going to play a crash technique. So if I get an out, I'm across his face, but if I get a down block, I'm going to chase his tail, and I'm going to go dent the first thing to us. So it actually helped us out a lot in the run game as well, because against gap scheme, now you almost have 2 off the edge. You got one guy for you're still squeezing spill player, but now you got 1 off the edge as well. So I feel like that's been good to us. And then we saw a ton of sprint out. So we sent a lot of pressure at the back this year. I mean, a lot of our pressure
checks a lot of boxes,
was dictated toward the back. So yeah.
Not going to pull it on inside zone. Yeah, it causes a lot of issues.
Yeah, because if it is zone read, your end is squeezing down to play dive.
Yeah.
And now
you can pull it into
your blitz player is surfing to play quarterback. So
exactly. Yeah, that's
Coach, some of the stuff we did at Cannon, and I obviously couldn't do it this year. We didn't have the time. Was in one back. We saw a lot of teams that were on GT and inside zone. Like that's what they would run. So we would have chase rules on both sides at defensive end. So no backers, regardless if they're pulling or not. We're not going across the center line. We're going to stay home.
Yep.
And we're gonna basically gap exchange on both sides, play side and weak side. And anytime someone ran GT counter, we're going to chase it down or force the quarterback to pull it for the unblocked backer.
So was that just a call for y'all?
Yep.
Or is that a tag?
So honestly, it was built in our system.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. What gave us some problems this year was like odd, and then like stunning away from. It'd be like a, the 4 technique would go B, C gap, and then they'd bring like the jack underneath and B.
Yeah,
and that was pretty difficult trying to run to that. Obviously, both away from it and to it, they did a lot from the boundary. They could hide it pretty easy with our, how wide our hashes are. And I mean, obviously, that gives you some problems with pass pro. That gave us a little bit of issues. I mean, I'm really having to game plan through that.
Well, it's like you can do personnel. That in 4 down too. Like that would be an easy. We would call that like cop. in
Yep.
4 down, because COP means contain on pass, tells the 4 hour to 3 to get to C gap. So, if we just signaled in that, then we could get that natural X exchange,
Yeah.
Jamie. And it is tough, especially if you see
It's
a
tough, especially in odds,
trips loaded
because
team.
he's like apexing to the boundary.
Yeah.
They're playing too high, so they're going to definitely rotate weak. So you got sometimes they stay too high and he hangs out there. So it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And they get really good at it. And he's coming full freaking speed. And that's just difficult, man. They did a really good job. That was clever.
I like doing that kind of stuff to the 3 technique. Have the 3 technique actually slant across the guard's face.
Yep.
You shoot that in upfield, and now instead of coming off the edge, you're actually going B gap. I think that gets
sick.
That gets difficult.
I think our best pressure, I didn't necessarily call it a lot to try to get the sack. I just wanted the quarterback to have to move.
Right.
And it's what Bam and them call belly one rat, where you go double threes, they cop on the pass, the end to the back traces them, the other end's your rat, and then double A gap, however you want to do it. So that was my favorite one, because double A pressure without the chance of we got to play zero behind it in a quarterback's face, he's going to get out the pocket.
Oh,
he's going to
100%.
move, and
we give these quarterbacks too much credit. Get something in their face right now.
All the teams I was worried about running back screen, it was perfect for, because the defense, the OL, they're going to pass, set, and release. They're not going to account for an end. So he's tracing that in, So that's my favorite call of the year, I would say. That Coach, this has been great. Awesome.
Man, I appreciate y'all.
This is one of our longer ones, man. So this is it's kind of flown by here, but we appreciate you being on. And guys at home, don't forget to check out Coach's Cut. I'm sure most of you guys already are on there, but check them out on TikTok and YouTube. And guys, don't forget to use promo code CoachSpeak with our awesome partners: Ray Color, Team Builder Practice, R4 Football Systems, Pro Quick Draw, Dome Headwear, and Optimum Grading. But the coach has been awesome having you on, man. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you guys. It's been awesome.
Thanks. See y'all guys on the next one.
All right, guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Coach Speak podcast. If you're interested in being a guest speaker on the show, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at coachspeakpodcast1@gmail.com. And if you have a question for our Q&A segment, don't forget to submit it through the form in the episode description. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.